All right. All right, let's be real. I've made mistakes. Like, a lot of them. Some were just typical human errors, but others, man, I literally wasted so many years on them. And the worst part? When I finally looked closer, I realized they were actually just simple bugs in my logic that I could have patched with a 2-line fix. But don't worry, I'm not here to give you some boring hustle culture lecture. Why? Because I hate being bored. Being bored is, well, boring. So let's get into it without making it a drag, guys. So on, Arrival Fallacy trap. First big mistake, thinking that happiness is a destination. I used to tell myself, once I move to Japan, once I master Python, or once my Etsy shop finally starts printing money, then I'll be happy. Well, that's a total lie your brain tells you. In psychology, we call this the arrival fallacy. It's the illusion that reaching a goal will grant you some permanent, happily ever after status. I had literally conditioned my brain to stay in a state of sadness until my life looked exactly how I wanted it to. I'd be sitting there and thinking, ugh, I'm not making enough money, or I wish I could just move already. But then I'd take a second to just breathe, and I realized that the smell of fresh grass. Okay, that's a lie. I'm an indoor person, you know. But the smell of a nice incense stick in my room could actually make me feel good right now. You might say, but Rina, is that real happiness? Well, what even is real happiness? The human mind is literally designed to find new problems. It's like using cheats in a video game. At first, it's fun to have infinite gold, but then the game gets boring because there's no challenge left. Well, that's hedonic adaptation for you. We get used to the good stuff way faster than we think. In short, I'm not saying stop chasing your dreams. Please keep running, but try to tie your joy to the process, not just the result, okay? For example, if you're trying to lose 20 kilograms, don't wait until the 20th kilo to feel proud. If you ate something healthy today and walked for 30 minutes, that's a win. You're contributing to the goal, and even if the scale hasn't moved yet, you're already moving in the right direction. And hey, stop rushing. You're not sprinting a marathon. Sometimes, being in a hurry is the very thing that trips you up. Give yourself permission to take your time. You're a work in progress, and that's the best version to be. All right, moving on to mistake number 2, calling things boring before you even give them a chance. Seriously, have you noticed how we label 90% of life as boring without actually trying it? And this leads us to the next topic. And here's 2, the psychology of prejudgment. In psychology, we call this a failure in effective forecasting. Basically, we are terrible at predicting how we're actually going to feel about something in the future. We see something, our brain creates an automatic oof response, and we just roll with it. It's like looking at a weird-looking snack and going, oof, no thanks. But then you take a bite and boom, it's a total banger. It becomes your new favorite. We judge the book by its cover way too much, and it makes our world so much smaller than it needs to be. But is it actually bad, or are you just scared of the unknown? It's worth asking, do I really hate this, or am I just too lazy to find out? Case in point, being a cashier. I used to think it was a one-way ticket to Boredom City. I mean, imagine standing there all day, moving items from the right to the left over and over.
I'm talking about the job itself here, not the paycheck.
But then life happened, and I actually had to work behind a register for a while, and guys, it was actually kind of a vibe. Sure, there were Karens and bad days, but learning the system and chatting with regulars was surprisingly fun. And that beep beep sound of the scanner? As someone who struggles with the DHD, that repetitive sound and motion actually put me into a flow state. It was like a weird industrial meditation. My brain finally stopped screaming for a second because it had this simple, rhythmic task to focus on. It actually helped my focus in a way I never expected. The point is, life can be surprisingly deep even in the things you don't think twice about. You never know how a boring experience might actually benefit your mental health or give you a new perspective. So if it's not going to cost you your soul, just try it. Send it. Unless it's a life-altering, permanent decision, definitely think those through twice. But for the small stuff, stop being a hater and just dive in. You're in progress, remember? And with that, we've reached our third and final boss, the inertia struggle. And now, for the final boss of our mistake marathon, procrastination. But I'm not talking about being lazy. I'm talking about that weird mental paralysis where you desperately want to start. You tell yourself tomorrow is the day, but then tomorrow comes and goes like 500 times. In psychology, this is often a mix of choice overload and executive dysfunction. Your brain is addicted to the fantasy of being productive. It loves the dopamine of planning, but the moment your butt hits the chair, it does everything in its power to escape. Sound familiar? Yeah, I thought so. When I was searching for a way out, mostly to avoid actually studying, let's be real. Then I found a cool trick, the nothing method. Basically, you sit at your desk, and if you can't study, you're not allowed to do anything else. No phone, no snacks, no staring at your cat. You just sit there. Eventually, your brain gets so starved for stimulation that studying actually starts to look exciting. It's a bold move, but it works unless you're extra problematic like me. But if even that doesn't work, we gotta go deeper. You have to be brutally honest with yourself. For me, the problem wasn't laziness, it was imposter syndrome. Every time I sat down to code, this fear would take over. What if I fail? Or how can I ever compete with those genius developers on the internet? Here's what you need to internalize. Not just know, but actually feel in your soul. Failure is just a mandatory side quest for leveling up. Life isn't a race. You can learn anything at 23, 30, or 50. There's a huge difference between knowing a fact and internalizing it. If you know it's not a race, but you still feel anxious, you haven't convinced your heart yet. Take time for yourself, meditate, and when you say your affirmations, actually mean them. Once you start pulling these off, you'll realize you've finally vibed with that nothing method I mentioned earlier. It's like it finally clicked, right? All you gotta do is check in with your heart first, listen to what it's telling you, and then just go for it, full send. Also, pro tip, stop comparing yourself to those 10-hour study with me vlogs. Those people are built different. We're aiming for progress, not perfection. If you can't do 2 hours, do 1. Can't do 1? Do 10 minutes. Just make a tiny plan, because your brain shuts down when it doesn't have a map. Knowing where to start is half the battle. I've wanted to start this YouTube channel forever, but I was stuck in that starting tomorrow loop until now. Well, this is my very first video. I might fail, I might cringe at this later, but hey, at least I started. I'm officially in progress with you guys. If you have any video topics you'd like me to discuss, I'm always open to ideas though. Thanks for watching, besties. I hope this sparked a little bit of main character energy in you. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to grow along with me. See ya in the next one. Bye-bye!